Hi, I'm Damita Santa, a junior research analyst from LOLC Securities.
And I'm Dinusha Gomez. I'm from the sales desk.
So let's take a look at last week's market summary. Market started the week positively, taking the momentum from the previous week. However, during the week, SPI fluctuated from green to red amidst the month-end selling pressure, while NPI gained backed by continuous interest in John Keel's holdings. NPI went through a kind of a rough patch on Tuesday with investor focus shifting on to access engineering debut. The trend reversed on Friday where SPI retreated while NPI slightly dipped due to JK's profit taking. Wednesday and Tuesday turnover was relatively low in the absence of big blocks. If you take a look at the negotiated deals which took place during last week, JK actually accounted for 3 of them, where 200,000 shares were traded at 195 rupees, 100,000 shares were traded at 205 rupees, and 330,000 shares were traded at 208 rupees. Biggest crossing took place on Thursday, where 4.5 million shares of Ceylon Bank were traded at 68 rupees. Substantial crossings of Nestle and Ceylon Tobacco were recorded at the beginning of the week as well. Average market turnover was relatively high amidst the participation of institutional and high net worth investors during the week. Credit boosts and low return expectations have dampened the retail investor participation. However, I think the capital injection of foreign would bode well for the sustainability of the market, and eventually that will entice the retail participation.
And moving on to corporate announcements, HNB signed an agreement to raise $50 million through a 5-year long-term loan from the China Development Bank. This is part of the bank's capital raising plan, which commenced in the mid-2011 to raise over 20 billion in equity and debt capital. Under the program, the bank has thus far raised about 18.5 billion rupees through a combination of Tier 1 and Tier 2 capital and senior debt to finance the development in post-war Sri Lanka. And also, Ceylon Bank informed that Mr. Isman Arankoda had informed the board of his intended resignation from the board of directors of the bank and confirmed that he will be making an announcement of this resignation to the shareholders at the AGM of the bank, which actually was on 28th March 2012. And also, Colombo Fort Hotels purchased 25 million ordinary shares in Maravir Resorts PLC at 7 rupees and 10 cents, which is about 20.4% of the voting shares of the company. The Colombo Fort Land and Building Company has transferred on 28 March 2012 its equity stake of 4.67% to Colombo Fort Hotels Limited for a consideration of 112 million rupees. The consideration has been settled by an allotment of 112 million shares in Colombo Fort Hotels Limited.
Moving on to the economic news of the country, the head of central bank said on Thursday it may stop supplying dollars to pay for oil import bills from May. Its latest move to allow more rupee flexibility after it refrained from intervening in foreign exchange markets last month. The central bank shifted its foreign exchange policy to allow the market to determine the currency's rate on 9th of February and stop defending a certain price level by selling dollars in the market. And the 42nd official development assistance loan package from Japan to Sri Lanka was committed by the Japan International Cooperation Agency on 28th of March. The total package amounting to rupees 65 billion is the largest in the history of bilateral cooperation between Japan and Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is on the track to resume a loan program with the International Monetary Fund next week, with preliminary data showing that action taken to break credit and domestic demand are showing results. The IMF held back the final 2 tranches of around $800 million from its $2.5 billion bailout facility given after 2008-9 balance of payments crisis shortly before Sri Lanka entered the current balance of payment crisis.
And moving on to global news, US stocks were mixed on Friday as the Dow Jones Industrial Average recently added 66 points to close at 13,212, and the S&P's 500 stock index rose 5.2 points to 1408, and the Nasdaq Composite fell 3.8% to close at 3092. Among the companies with shares actively traded after hours is Groupon Inc. Oil and gas, once involved in a stable relationship, continue to go further apart. During the first quarter, the price gap between crude oil and natural gas widened to an extreme, as oil prices were buoyed by supply concerns amid Middle East tension, while gas prices were weighted down by usually warm winter and supply glut in the US.
With that, we wrap up last week's summary. Thank you.
Thank you.